In this video, Andrew Schulz shares his unfiltered and controversial thoughts about Kamala Harris. Right from the start, he calls out both Kamala and the Democratic Party, saying they straight up lied about being contacted for a podcast interview. This all came out during a conversation with the New York Times, and Schulz didn't hold anything back.
Kamala, for sure. And then her team just lies. Just blatantly lies.
About what?
About us reaching out.
They say they didn't?
Yeah. And it's just wild.
Yeah.
It's wild to blatantly lie when not only did I reach out, Charlemagne, who's like working with them, reached out. Mark Cuban, who's a surrogate, reached out. And we reach out. And they just blatantly lie. And then when people will write articles about it, they will lie by telling the truth. Meaning, they'll say like, Flagrant or Andrew says he reached out to Kamala, but we reached out to the Kamala people and they said that that never happened. So what is the reader supposed to interpret that as?
It's an invasion.
And I think it's an indictment on me.
Right.
Because it's almost like calling me a liar.
Yeah.
In this next clip, Schulz completely shuts down the idea of Kamala Harris as a serious presidential candidate. He doesn't hold back at all, calling her goofy, weird, and straight up boring. It's clear he doesn't think she has what it takes to lead.
Who's voting Democrat?
Probably about 80 million people.
Right.
Man, ain't nobody voting for Kamala Harris.
Watch.
What?
By the way, I don't know.
It's
You're
been so
tripping.
funny to see everybody jump on the Kamala train immediately. Like, it was unanimously accepted that she was kind of boring, weird, and goofy for fucking, the last 4 years? Maybe even before that. She got lobotomized by Tulsi Gabbard in the debate. Everybody said the exact thing.
One bad bar.
Like, there's a million different things. Everybody was talking about her actual record, the fact that she's keeping these people in jail with the drug.
Not true, though.
But whatever, that was still the conversation.
That was the narrative. I got
the narrative. Like, and then as second she becomes the nominee, everything was forgotten. Immediate amnesia. You always talk about how like Republicans get in line. Democrats get in line, bro.
But that,
just yes. So who should I follow? Yes. Whatever you say, Daddy. Whatever you say.
In this next clip, Schulz says we'll never really know if Kamala Harris is actually any good because she hides behind a scripted, polished politician personality. He argues that the real Kamala never shows up and that most of America still has no idea who she actually is.
Hypothetically, let's say Kamala does go on Rogan, goes on Lex, goes on Theo. Does she win? I don't think so. I think fundamentally the strategy of her campaign was flawed from the get-go, and I think Biden largely like kiboshed her odds by just pulling out so late.
Yes.
That like even if she had done these things, I think it absolutely would have helped, but I don't think it would have won her the election.
Yeah, I think it would have won her the election if she was good.
Well, yeah.
And the reality is, it's like we'll never know if she was good because we were never given her.
Right.
And the most real you've ever seen her is when she and Charlemagne were sitting down, and I was like, Charlemagne, don't have any callers call in. I said it on Brilliant Idiots. I was like, you just need to talk to this woman for 3 fucking hours. Mm-hmm. That is the closest that we've seen her to being a real person and not just a politician. Talk to her. That is the way that American can get to know her. America doesn't know her. They've seen her flip-flop on every single issue, which is okay. I'm okay if politicians change their mind. I'm totally okay with that. But give me an explanation as to why. They've seen her gaslight about the border. Haven't answered a single fucking question about the border correctly or with any amount of confidence that made the American people believe that they were going to do something different. Like, there are real issues that they didn't touch on. And I feel like Charlemagne could be, I'm biased, but I think he could have been the guy to actually push her to answer those questions.
Finally, Schulz goes on a long, hilarious rant where he completely roasts Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party. It turns into one of his funniest moments ever, with his whole crew cracking up in the background. It's classic unfiltered Schulz, and he's clearly holding nothing back.
Biden is out and Kamala is in. The election went from drool runnings to cool runnings faster than a female cop can fumble her firearm. Move over, RFK. This November, we've got a new throat goat, and apparently her headshots don't miss. Kamala Harris, or as we call her, Warhawk Tua, the half-black, half-Indian parents met at a 7-Eleven robbery, is officially the Democratic nominee. Surely the Dems, the party that calls Trump the end of democracy. Surely they allowed the voters to choose Kamala, right? What? No? Wait, there's no right to choose? Guys, this is a presidential election, not a woman's body in Oklahoma. Now, I don't want to seem like a flat earthing, dinosaur denying, believe all women conspiracy theorist, but it kind of feels like the Democrats dragged Biden's lifeless corpse through the campaign long enough to avoid a primary so they could place whoever they wanted as the nominee. And that's about as democratic as North Korea's Got Talent. Sidebar, last year's winner, Ching Chong Chestnut, ate 46 rats. Congratulations, Ching Chong. That's a lot of rats. We'll look forward to seeing how many you eat next year. What I'm saying is they used a vegetable to install a plant. And honestly, we would have been happier with a fruit. But the reality is it doesn't matter. Last week, Trump became invincible. Literally. He was leading before and now he's number one with a bullet. At this point, if the Dems wanted to beat Thrifty Cent, they'd have to run George Washington and Kamala could work for him. Paid. Now, why is Trump invincible? Because he has the power of Hulkamania, obviously, brother, with a hard R. And also because this pimple-lipped, pug-faced incel, we'll call him a trench bulldog, tried to make Trump's brain public domain. Fortunately, even a bullet couldn't make Donald open-minded. Now, getting a shot off at the president must be an incredibly difficult thing to accomplish. I mean, not as difficult as finding binoculars to fit his eyes. Jesus, he looks like the sloth from Ice Age. But he must have designed a pretty ingenious plot to circumvent the Secret Service and the... Oh, what's that? Wait, you're saying that Herbie Potter was just walking around with a loaded gun like he was on an Alec Baldwin set? He was carrying a fucking ladder and a rangefinder? He propped it up on a building that had cops in it, positioned himself on the roof with a perfect sight line to the president, and no one did anything? This Mickey Mouse security detail was so goofy it made Donald duck. Oh boy! Who's in charge of the Secret Service? A lady? Wait, what? Seriously? Well, of course she didn't have anyone on top of the building. Women only care about shots on a roof when there's a pool party. Now, I don't want to seem like a Bigfoot tracking, moon landing denying Jews don't control the weather conspiracy theorist, but it doesn't exactly feel like a 20-year-old fetal alcohol face McLovin should be able to infiltrate the most advanced security detail in history. I mean, the only other thing he's penetrated was his palm. Did Kim Cheadle hire Epstein's NyQuil Night Watch? What the fuck is going on here? This just doesn't feel right. And that's the problem. Nothing feels right. We have officially entered the post-truth age. We can't trust the media. We can't trust the government. We can't trust the pharmaceutical industry. We can't even trust the food we eat. So who can you trust? Me, your good friend Schulz. This episode has been brought to you by Pfizer. There is no promo code. There's nothing to fill out. They're already inside you. But before we bitch, whine, and complain, just remember, like it or not, this is what we asked for. We wanted fast content that makes us feel good. We want politicians who lie to us. We want sugary food to fill us up and pills to slim us down. We don't want what's good for us. We want what's convenient. So we made our bed. Might as well get comfy. Sleep tight.